Hey everyone, it's Alyssa. Today I want to know, how do I use my cell phone as a webcam? If you want to know too, then keep on watching. Now, before we get in too far, I want to address some of the shortcomings of using a cell phone as a webcam. The image quality is not going to be as good as a DSLR. Look at the lens difference. You'll never be able to get this kind of image quality. And as you'll see right now, I'm using this webcam full screen, and you can see it's not the best quality. It's not the worst, but you could definitely get better. You may also be seeing some audio sync issues. I'm going to try and correct it in post, but I may not be entirely successful. So be aware that that is definitely an issue. So if there's these two huge issues, why would you even want to do this? Well, for one, some of these issues are greatly minimized if you're only using this as a face cam. So for example, if you are recording a YouTube video and you just want a small face cam, it might take on only the bottom portion of your screen. You're not going to notice as much audio sync issues. There will also be less audio sync issues. I'll cover that a little bit more later in the video. If you're only a quarter or even less of the full screen size, you're not going to notice the reduced audio quality of using a cell phone versus a nicer camera. It's also great for things like Zoom because usually you're going to have a bunch of people in the meeting. So again, people won't be really seeing your face full screen. It's just going to occupy a small portion of the screen. And so this quality should be adequate. And then of course, there's the big one. Let's face it, almost all of us these days have a smartphone. Very few people have a nice DSLR camera. So if you are just starting out in your channel and you don't want to invest too much in a DSLR, that's going to cost you a couple hundred at least, maybe even a couple thousand. And these DSLR cameras don't connect directly to your computer. You'll need some sort of capture device to connect it. So if you don't want to invest that kind of cost, then using your cell phone might be a good solution. It's also useful if nowadays we're getting a lot more into Zoom meetings. This might be temporary, maybe you don't do them a lot, so you may not want to invest in a dedicated webcam. Using your cell phone could be a good short-term measure. Okay, so why would I choose DroidCam or DroidCam X in particular? Well, one of the key features I was looking for is that it's free or at least cheap. Right now, I am starting a brand new YouTube channel. I don't know if it'll go anywhere, so I don't want to invest too much money in it. So there is a free version of the app. That is the DroidCam version. And then there's a paid version, but it's about $5 US, I think. So not too expensive. I did go ahead and pay for it, both to support the developers and to get that high definition mode. Basically, the only differences between the paid version and the free version is the quality. So so far, the entire video has been filmed using the Pro HD version. Now, there are two HD versions. There is the widescreen, like I'm showing you right now, and then there is a cropped screen. There is also a cropped standard definition screen, and that's the one that is included in the free version. So, give me one sec and let me switch and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, here's what it looks like in the free standard definition mode. And actually, it doesn't look that bad. I'm looking at my screen next to me, and I'm actually pretty impressed. I know that without the lighting, it's actually quite poor. And I'm going to guess that most of you, especially if you're just using this for Zoom, maybe don't have lighting. So let me turn it off for one moment. Okay, this is what it looks like in standard definition mode. Actually, still not too bad. I do have a window beside me. And lighting back on. Okay, maybe take a look. I do see a difference between this and high definition mode. But if this is good enough for you, then maybe this is your solution. Alright, we're back. So the other reason that I chose DroidCam is because it connects via USB. Now I do believe it can also connect via Wi-Fi. Most webcam apps can connect via Wi-Fi, but I have a really old computer. So my computer actually doesn't have Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or anything like that. I could probably buy something to enable the Wi-Fi, but I just thought it would be easier to connect via USB. So this does work via USB. The other thing I like about USB, at least in theory, is that it should have a reduced lag time. The cable should transfer faster than over Wi-Fi. Like I said, there is still audio sync issues, so Now, one drawback will be that this app is only for Android. Now, that's not a problem for me. I have an Android phone, so that worked out. I'm sure there are iOS apps out there that do the same thing. If you guys are interested, let me know in the comments below and I'll try and find one for you. For me, it works. I guess not for everybody, unfortunately. Now, if you want to see what a facecam would look like with this method in a full video, I will leave a link to my other channel here. And you can see in like a full video facecam style what it would look like and see if the video quality is sufficient for your purpose. So this is actually the second video that I've shot on this subject. I wanted to add a little bit more information, and also when I played it back, I wasn't really happy with the video quality, and that was really bothering me simply because of the lighting that I used. So that was quite early on when I decided I wanted to try making YouTube channels, and I didn't have, a very nice lighting setup. There's actually a lot of different things that I want to show you with my lighting setup and just show you like the actual thing and some comparisons and stuff. So I think I'll have to show that in a separate video, but suffice to say, it looks way better in this lighting and I'm definitely more happy with this video. If you're interested in the old one, I will link it down below. So you can check it out if you want. But this video is basically going to provide all that information and maybe a little more. Alright, now I'm going to insert a clip from my previous video on how to set up DroidCam on your phone as well as on your computer. For the computer, I'm going to show how it works with OBS. It definitely does work for Zoom as well. One thing I did notice was that I couldn't get the audio to work with Zoom. So I guess your mileage may vary. The other alternative is that you could call in with a house phone or something like that. Before I hit play, if you're finding this video helpful, then please give it a like so that YouTube knows and recommends it to other people looking for this information. And if you want more videos like this, then make sure to subscribe. I have a couple of good videos in the works. Alright, let's hit play and I'll join you back for more tips. Now, to set up the app, you'll have to go to the Play Store and search for DroidCam. And it is a free app, which is great. There is also another version called DroidCam X. So that's the paid version. I think I paid around $5 or $6 for it, so it's not too expensive. And it enables a couple of other options, but the main one being that it has a high definition mode. So I'm just going to go ahead and install it on my cell phone. First thing you want to do on your cell phone is go ahead and go to the Play Store and search for DroidCam. Here it is here. And it is a free application, and it does work over both Wi-Fi and USB, but like I said, I use it over USB, so that's what I'll cover in this video. There is another version on the Play Store called DroidCam X. That's the paid version, and it unlocks a couple of features like autofocus and flipping the screen, but the main thing is that it has a high definition mode, which can be useful if you want to go for that. It is about, I think, $5 or $6, so it's not too expensive. If you want to use it, definitely try the free version first, see if that works for you, and then you can explore the more expensive version. Now, one thing you definitely want to do is go into your settings, scroll down and go into your developer options and enable USB debugging. Now, if you don't have developer options, I'll let you go ahead and Google the instructions for your specific Android version, but don't worry, it's pretty easy to enable. So once you do that, you can go ahead and open the app. And you'll need to give it some permissions. Obviously, it needs access to your video and audio. From here, generally, you can just go to this screen. You can adjust some of the settings by going to the three dots and selecting settings. There's a couple of options here, but the most interesting one for you may be the camera option. If you're like me and you have a cell phone that has multiple cameras, certainly the front and the back, but maybe you have a wide angle or a telephoto lens, you can select that here. They're not labeled, unfortunately, but you should be able to just play around with it and select the one that you want. And with that, you can go ahead and head to your desktop. So on your PC, you'll want to install the DroidCam app. I'll leave a link in the description. So all you want to do is double click the app. If you're connecting over USB, you just click the middle button. I like to use only the video portion and not the audio. I have a separate microphone for that. With that, you just click start. Now this is the same app for both the paid and the free version. And there I am. Now let's go ahead and go to OBS to set up the webcam. Alright, here I have OBS set up to show my screen. Under the scene that I want to add the webcam, I'm just going to go to sources and click the plus button. And I'm going to go to Video Capture Device. Now I actually already have it set up here, so I'm going to click the existing device. And here I am, again, full screen this time. Now you can do a couple of things from here. One thing that we can do is make my face a little smaller. So what we can do is just click here, and you can go ahead and drag it to whatever size you want. If you don't want to display the full screen, then click the Alt key and just drag it. I'm going to make a little box for myself, and I'm going to move myself to the corner and make myself a little bigger. Okay, maybe that's too big. Let's make it this size. That looks good. You can also apply a couple filters if you want. So for example, we could right click and go to filters. And you see here that I've already set up a color correction. So normally you would just click the plus sign. And there's a couple of options here for you. So under color correction, you can adjust the gamma. That's just going to make it brighter or a little less bright. You can adjust the contrast, the brightness, saturation, etc. So I'm just going to leave it like this and close this off. Alright, let's go back to full screen mode. Okay, now let me show you quickly how to attach it to Zoom. It's super easy. So for this, I'm just going to go to the Zoom test. You can do this before your Zoom meeting to make sure that your setup is all done properly. So you can just go join test meeting and go ahead and click join. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open Zoom. Okay, so one quick thing, maybe not an issue for everybody, but I had OBS running on my other screen so that I can screen capture this for you guys, but that means that Zoom didn't detect my webcam. So if you see a gray screen on Zoom, it means that it's not detecting it for some reason, and if you're using it in another application, that is probably why. So you'll see that actually I opened Zoom first and then opened OBS to record this for you guys, and now it works. Thing, however, that doesn't work is that I intended to have a small face cam in the side or at the bottom of my screen using OBS, but that doesn't work. So one limitation seems to be that running DroidCam, it can only act as a single webcam for a single device. You can't use it for both Zoom and something else at the same time. Okay, but anyway, let's continue with this little tutorial. So we'll just go join with video. Okay, I hear ringtone. Unfortunately, I can hear myself on my external microphone that I'm using right now. It's a Samsung Q2U. And actually, I can't hear myself on the input audio from this webcam. Now, I did hear some feedback from you guys about my last video, and you were able to get the audio working. And actually, I believe I have been able to listen to the audio from this, but somehow the audio doesn't work on Zoom. Now, your mileage may vary, I've said that before, but maybe just try it out, but be aware that you may need to dial in from an alternate device. Obviously, you're using your cell phone as a webcam, so you won't be able to dial in on your cell phone. Maybe if you're living with somebody or you have like a second cell phone or something, you could dial in that way, or if you have a house phone. Or if you have a external microphone, that definitely does work, just not the audio from the DroidCam. But anyway, you can go through this tutorial and test your setup, and obviously it'll work for your Zoom meeting as well. Now let's talk about troubleshooting. The number one complaint I see about DroidCam is the orange screen. So what the orange screen means is that your computer isn't receiving any footage from the app or your cell phone. And I think the number one reason for this is that you don't have USB debugging enabled in your phone. So you need to go to developer options in your settings and enable that. By default, developer options is not enabled, and the way to enable it does kind of differ by phone. So if you don't see developer options in your settings, go ahead and Google that to see how to enable it for your particular model, and then you'll want to enable USB debugging. There is one other reason for the orange screen that I've encountered, but I'm going to talk about it in 1 second. Okay, the second issue that I've noticed is audio sync. Now, I'm going to try and fix this as much as I can in post, but what I notice is that when I am recording at its highest resolution, the audio sync can be as much as a second or more. So that's huge. Now, there's a number of ways to overcome this. The first one is to minimize the audio sync in the first place. So right now, I'm shooting in the full screen 16:9 mode. There is also a cropped 4/3 mode that is good enough if you are using a face cam, because you're not going to want the wide full screen anyway. And that reduces the amount of video that you're setting, and that reduces the audio sync. So if you are using this for face cam purposes, I would recommend doing that. Okay, to show you the second thing, let me shrink myself and show you something on my desktop. So if here you can see that I have the DroidCam client running on my desktop. It's showing on here as well as in OBS. What we want to do is just click this mute preview. And again, that's going to reduce the kind of load on your computer and it will reduce the resulting audio lag. Now, if I go over to OBS, you can see that my face is still on here, even though I've muted that preview. Now, one quick warning about turning off your video there. This is what I was talking about with the orange screen. Don't turn it off until you start OBS. If you don't do that, then you will get the orange screen. And in order to fix that, I found that I have to actually restart my computer. So save yourself some time and don't do it. One thing I will mention here is that the audio sync issues that you experience will probably depend on how powerful your computer is. My computer used to be powerful, like 10 years ago, but I haven't updated it since. So if you have a more powerful computer, you may not have as many or any issues. Alright, and now I'm going to cue another old clip, which is how you can actually offset your audio in OBS in order to resolve any sync issues that you do have. I will also mention that the other way to fix them is to fix them in whatever editing software that you're using. Alright, cue old clip. What you want to do is go to your audio mixer, click on the gear icon next to your microphone. In this case, I'm using the Samsung Q2U. You want to go to Advanced Audio Properties. Beside your microphone, you'll see a sync offset. Now, because I am shooting at 720p and I'm using the kind of full resolution, I am at 1400 milliseconds. That is a lot. There's 3 different options for your resolutions, I guess. So standard definition, the 720p, but it's kind of a square, so only shows part of the screen, and then the full 720p. I use 1400 for the full 720p, and for the kind of smaller 720p, I only need to use a sync offset of 175 milliseconds. That's definitely a lot lower. Just be aware that you need to modify this depending on what resolution you're using. The other thing that I've noticed that can be kind of tricky is that if you do decide to buy the Pro version, you will still see your face cam in standard definition. And a lot of people complain, why I paid for my Pro version, why am I not getting high definition? Well, it's kind of tricky. So what you need to do is open Windows Explorer, go to your C drive and go to Program Files or wherever you installed your program. This is the default location, DroidCam. And you'll need to click this Toggle HD mode. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to have to exit out of the application. So I'm going to go ahead and close my webcam. Alright, now that we've done that, you can go ahead and go to this Toggle HD mode. You will need to run it with administrator privileges. Then you should get this window right here and you can select what your webcam output is. So this is going to be your standard definition version that you're going to get with the free version of the app. This is the kind of middle of the ground, and this is the one that I normally use when I use my camera as a webcam, as a face cam rather in my Let's Plays, because that's good enough. I don't really need the full definition. And I've been filming this video with the full definition 720p because that's what I needed to fill the entire screen of my YouTube video. Okay, the third issue that I've noticed is your cell phone dying. One thing that I want to mention is that I'm using the Samsung S10e. Even with the original cable, which one assumes should be good, I find that it has a lot of trouble even connecting to my computer. Never mind trying to charge the battery. So I bought a set of cables from Amazon. Let me find where I put it. Okay, looks like I may have thrown away the box, but basically it is a set of USB-C cables from SyncWire. It comes in a pack of 2, and I paid like 13 Canadian dollars for the pair, so about $7.50 each. That's pretty affordable. I think in US dollars, it's about $11, and I'm actually really impressed by the quality of these cables. So just feeling them, they are really thick, just they're braided, they feel like they are good quality and that they're gonna last a long time. Performance-wise, I will say that after a long gaming session, I can start with almost no battery and end up with my phone completely charged. So that's really nice. And I haven't had any data sync issues with my computer, which again, like I said, I had those with my original cable. So I'm really impressed with these. I'm really impressed by the price, and I totally recommend them. I'll leave a link down in the description below if you're interested. They may or may not be affiliate links, but if they are, I'll definitely make sure to let you know. Okay, lastly, you may be wondering how I'm holding my cell phone. So I actually have a desk-mounted arm. I'm actually planning on doing a separate video on that. But basically, it is similar to a microphone arm, and it lets me put it any way I want. It's really just convenient to use, so that's what I'm using for that. I don't think you'll be able to buy it on Amazon. It doesn't have a brand. It was really cheap. I paid like $10 Canadian for it. I know that there are like comparable models from Newer. I'll try and find one and link it below if I can get it. Alright, that's all I can think of. If you have any more questions about this, leave it in the comments below and I will answer it. That's all I have for you today. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, like I said, please give it a like. It really helps me out a lot. And it lets YouTube know that my video is useful so that it recommends it to people who are looking for this information. And if you want to see more reviews like this, if you want to see my upcoming video on my lighting or my webcam, then make sure to subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified when I upload them. In the meantime, stay safe and I'll see you next time. Bye.